I was about to say everybody should know me. Like, what the heck?
Right. All
What's
right.
good, everybody? This is a special presentation episode for Saturday Night Nerds. This is a bonus episode where we're going to review Werewolf by Night and talk about monsters, Marvel, DC, BS a little bit about what's going on in comic books today. And then you get to meet three of our newest guests on the show and co-hosts. So we got Thomas with us. You can call him Tommy. We got
What up, my dog?
Cameron, and then we have Half. We'll call him Half.
Yeah, his real name's Ashton, but he goes by half on Xbox when I'm playing with him and everything. So
And I,
we can call him half. Yeah.
You can call me whatever, I guess.
Yeah, it's,
All right,
it's,
bro.
it's good having you guys on the show. Without further ado, I'm gonna drop the theme song.
All right.
Is the best thing what? Exactly.
All right.
All
Welcome
right.
back, everybody.
What
Let's
up? What
see.
up?
All right.
See, I know Ashton's got to bounce shortly, so I'm get the first main topic on screen, and then if you gotta bounce, it's all good. Yeah,
Okay.
we're just
All right,
sharing
bro.
our thoughts and opinions on Werewolf by Night.
I'll be honest with you, I never actually heard about that.
Oh, yeah, it's like I'm not like the most well read on Werewolf by Night. I just started Moon Knight, and then I dove into Werewolf by Night through Moon Knight. And
Yeah.
from what I learned so far, it's pretty dope. And then live action just came out Friday, and most of us have seen it already and have some opinions for it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because it started as a what was it? It was a book back in the 70s, right? I think that's Werewolf by Night began during that craze of like the monster movie kind of books. You had like The Living Mummy, you had
Man
Tomb
Thing.
of Dracula, uh, and of course Werewolf by Night. And then Werewolf by Night kind of gave us Moon Knight. And what was it, issue 38 or 32?
I think it was
I think it was
38.
32. It was one of the two.
mhm.
But
Okay.
I thought that what they did with the special was pretty incredible. I thought making it black and white and giving it that feel of like that old school classic Frankenstein creature from the Black Lagoon kind of eerie feeling that you get, especially with the music. I love the way that the title card kind of introduced us to it.
Yeah.
'Cause it went from being the normal Marvel all red, and then you get the slash from the Werewolf by Night, and it turns into that minor key. It goes down and it becomes more ominous, and then it
Yeah.
keeps that tone throughout the whole movie.
Because
Or
it's
the
already
special
known that
presentation.
it's going to be completely different from anything else. And then even like after the Marvel title rolls out, you just get like just the title right there, and then there Werewolf by Night in black and white. Like all the classic movies back then would roll out like the title, some of the credits. But yeah,
Yeah, he had the cigarette burns all along the edges of the screen. It was
Oh, I
pretty
love
dope.
that. That made me so happy seeing that. Like, and it's prominent too. It's not just like a one-off thing. It's several times throughout the movie. You see just the burn in the film reel, and you're just like, oh man, it feels like a classic movie.
It really does.
Yeah.
Sure. And
I'm trying to think. You can continue talking. GM, I have like 4 minutes left, so I'm gonna get going.
All right, bro.
All right, man. Thanks,
All right, my
thanks for
guy.
coming out.
we'll,
Yeah,
we'll,
we
catch you
appreciate
later.
it, bro.
It was
Catch
nice
you
meeting
later.
my brother.
All right, man.
Yes,
Thanks.
sir.
All right, talk to y'all probably. I don't know.
We'll schedule it, bro.
We'll figure it out.
We'll
Yeah,
figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
it.
Well, bye.
All right,
Peace.
my brother.
Peace.
Fucking fruit flies. What's up?
The leave button would work.
There we go. There we go.
Oh man, that's gonna be me trying to leave the call.
Right.
Ah, damn, I can't figure this shit out.
What button I gotta press? Wait a
Okay.
minute.
Oh, we gotta.
All right. So,
Yeah.
what did you guys think of the actor they got for Jack Russell? Like before, like
Thank you.
what do you think of him before the transformation?
Yeah, Garcia. He's a great actor. I like that choice.
I really love
although-
this scene with Elsa when they're in like
In
the
tomb?
the what is it, the
The tomb.
mausoleum
That's
kind of thing, while they were just
Yeah.
sitting there and they were just talking. I really enjoyed that scene, and I felt like that was really, it humanized him and it made him different than the other hunters that we see at the very beginning. All of them are ready to kill one another. All of them are ready to kind of take the stone for themselves. And you just had him, and he was very soft spoken and he was different. And I like his first interaction with Elsa when they get into the hunt and how they're trying to have this conversation. And then you see the guy with the beard. What was his name?
they didn't
The
really
Scottish
say
guy.
a lot. Yeah, they didn't really say a lot of
Yeah.
the names. But no, I
Yeah,
agree.
that was a big thing with the movie too, was that I didn't really hear a lot of the names. The names were kind of hard to. I think Azarel was the one in the white.
Yeah,
I think that was the only name I could catch.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
and the fact that in the mausoleum, when they were talking, you could tell it wasn't like they weren't trying to be like romantic or like just do anything like that. It's just more like two kindred spirits, just like in this situation, they're just trying to make it out and just not going for like the kill right away.
Exactly. Like the only last names that appeared in the show was the Bloodstone family. Like you didn't know anybody's last name, not even Jack. I don't think. Did Jack say his last name? He didn't.
No,
They
but
didn't
I don't think you
showcase-
hear his last name.
no, but they do have it in the credits. I'm pretty sure, and his last name is like Jack Russell from the comics. So
Yeah.
But I thought it was really interesting that they didn't incorporate as much of the horror that I thought they would. You know, I thought that like we would see like a living mummy reference or even like a Morbius reference since he's the living vampire. You know,
Right.
I assumed that we would see something along those lines or let me see. I'm trying to think of what else we could have seen, but
What's up, guys?
Man Thing in the movie.
What's up,
What
bro?
up, man?
How's everyone doing?
doing all right.
Just chilling.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
getting this Werewolf by Night conversation going.
It's the first time I'm in the stream. Yeah.
That's the first time for me and Thomas, so you're not
Yeah.
Oh
alone.
yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen Werewolf by Night?
This is out of control.
My fault, guys. I'm trying to silence this text speech thing,
3.
and I can't figure it
Pronouns.
out.
4. Political. 5. Trans or cisgender. 6.
I want to look at the camera, but I want to look at you guys. And I'll quit it.
Yeah, his phone was saying some interesting stuff.
It was right there.
Political. Da-da.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
cisgender, transgender. Like, whoa, wait a minute, sir. What?
Wait,
Oh man.
I'm confused.
It's Discord. There's a lot of Discord accounts and stuff,
7.
man.
Languages.
I
8.
Languages.
Lord
if anybody
have
knows how to
Professor
mute
said
this,
equals
let me
range.
know. But
Iona said
I'm gonna
pick a
mute
group
this
you
real
want to
fast.
assign or
I mean,
unassign
Take
mute
your time.
myself, and then I'll.
1. Gender.
God dang it!
No, have you watched Werewolf by Night yet? Or no?
Me? No.
No.
No, you haven't.
What is that?
it's like one of the most recent shows that came out for Disney Plus with Marvel. But it's actually like a 1 episode special presentation that you can watch, and it's like kind of like a horror style TV show that you can watch if you know what Werewolf by Night is. But like if you it's my gripe and complaint about this show is that it's not for casuals. Like there's a lot going on to this show. Like if you're not into anything Marvel, you probably won't know what's going on.
Right.
Makes sense.
But this was definitely comic book candy.
But also like the on the other side of that, like there's not really that many. I don't think there's any real references to anything out in the Marvel world outside of like that setting that they have at Bloodstone Manor. Because I mean, there really wasn't much of anything. I mean, were those actually TVA agents or what?
I would assume maybe TVA or damage control, but also they did have a couple of those like mantles on the wall, like monsters that got slayed, and they showed like Baron Blood and a couple other
I think you see Gore the God Butcher. I think you see him, and like in the hieroglyphs, I think you see the what is it, Stormbreaker.
The
I think you see that kind of gashing him in the back, and then of course we get the Avengers at the very beginning
Right.
when they start going through the book. I assume Ulysses' book.
Right.
Shut up. TV.
Uh-oh.
Fucking A.
First will and now
I don't got a remote for that bitch. I got that from one of mine Will's friends, and I unplugged my head or my controller, and Will's shit is picking up your guys' voice.
Are you like wait, are you
My
in
fault. I had to mute that.
What's up?
Are you in New Madrid, or are you like out of town? Where you from?
I'm from Kansas City.
Oh, yeah. I thought you and him was in the same.
All right, we good, man. I uninstalled
Same
Discord
city.
for a little bit.
Oh, it's all good.
Yeah, man, it was getting on my nerves. Yeah.
What were your thoughts on Werewolf by Night?
You talking about me?
Yeah.
Dude, I think it's one of the only Marvel show that I like was actually in. Like, I was enjoying myself so much, man, because like there's a lot of artistic elements going into it. Like, they did some things with it that we haven't seen from Marvel yet. I like the black and white settings they went with. I like the characters, you know what I'm saying? I like who they cast for Jack. And I think my favorite part about it, like the thing that I could say that was my favorite out of it, was the friendship that Jack had with Man Thing. I loved it, man. I loved it.
I like that part. That was a little bit surprising because I knew he wasn't there for the stone, but I wasn't sure like why he was there until it's like Man Thing's arm just pulls out and like he's like, oh, hi buddy.
Ed, it's you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Didn't he look? Didn't Man-Thing look really good?
Yeah,
he
he
looked
did.
incredible.
I thought he did.
I
My
love
only
Yeah.
complaint though is that I think that they should have given him the red eyes even during the black and white. I
right.
feel like
Yeah.
the eyes kind of looked a bit off in the
Because-
black and white because you
Yeah,
kind
it
of see
did.
the iris and all that, and it feels kind of off because once you get to like the color version, you see the bright red, and it kind of gets rid of that iris that you see, and it's all just one coherent eyeball. You know, it's not
Yeah.
layers
and they
to it.
did-
But I think that it's interesting the way they did it.
Yeah, and they did have the bloodstone like it red during the black and white, so they could have done his eyes red too. So
Right.
And that was my only complaint. I just felt like it was improper use of Man-Thing's eyes. I feel like that's one of the big things that makes him different from Swamp Thing is he's got the big circle red eyes.
Yeah, and I'm pretty much like I love the sci-fi Man-Thing, the horror movie that came out like a few years ago. I thought it was funny to watch and very entertaining because I didn't know who Man-Thing was back then, and I wasn't into the comics.
Yeah.
But I really appreciated the fact that Marvel pretty much had a horror movie with sci-fi, and I think they did Ted some justice in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But this version of Man-Thing, now that I have read the comics, is way better.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They
And when he
definitely-
grabs the first person and that's terrified of him,
Yeah.
like you just see the fire just encapsulate
I
them.
love
And
that.
I thought that was really interesting the way they did that
Yeah.
too.
that was good.
Yeah.
It just felt
And,
like they were collapsing in on themselves, is what it felt more like.
correct me if I'm wrong. His abilities, like he can like in there, like I know the fire and everything. Like when you're scared of him, you just burst into flames and stuff, right? But there's some more to his abilities. I actually forgot, but he's actually pretty goddamn strong, man. Like
Yeah.
strong.
Oh yeah.
Growing, can he? I think he can he grow in size? Like get bigger?
Yeah.
I think so.
Mhm.
See, I know more about Swamp Thing than I do Man-Thing.
Hold on, let me see.
Yeah, Man-Thing, he can travel from like dimensions. He can travel across the multiverse from what I've read
Okay,
about
yeah,
him.
I think that's it right there.
Yeah, anything with nature in it, he could be there. And it gives
Sorta
him
like Swamp
so
Thing,
many
right?
yeah.
Similar but still different from Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So what are Swamp Thing's abilities then?
What Swamp Thing's? I think he's more connected to the planet, like green.
Man
The green.
Thing is a Nexus being. Let's see.
See, Swamp Thing, like he was he's kind of got a similar origin to Man Thing, where he was in a lab. There was a fire in the lab. The fire affected him. He falls into the swamp, and then the swamp kind of binds with him.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah,
becomes
so
the
kind of
Swamp
like how
because it's Swamp
it's
Thing.
not the same at all, but like how Sandman got turned into Sandman in Spider-Man 2.
Oh,
He got knocked
yeah.
into that
Well,
sand thing.
It's almost kind of like that, where it's that
Um,
same concept where they just kind of fall into something, and it transforms them.
It's like Jamie Foxx says, you gotta watch where you fall.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But with Swamp Thing though, it took it in like a completely different direction. Like
He's more connected to like the green of the planet, like nature.
yeah, that's what it's more along the lines of, is that he's a protector of nature is essentially what he becomes. And then you find out during the Alan Moore run of Swamp Thing that he is one of many Swamp Things that have existed. That he was not the first, and he will probably not be the last.
Right.
But Swamp Thing is pretty tied to the universe and all that. Like
Okay.
especially like if you think about Sandman. Like Matthew the Raven, I think his first appearance was in Swamp Thing #1. And that was before he had died, because if you know anything about Matthew the Raven, he died in a book prior to Sandman, and Neil Gaiman decided to use him, and he turned him into a Raven that would be alongside Morpheus throughout his entire story.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
His powers are okay. Malleability, super strength, superhuman durability, acidic secretion, teleportation, dimensional travel. That's all of it right there.
So Man Thing's kind of like a magical, like uh, fire brimstone kind of like being, sort of.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that much about Man Thing. I think I've only seen like a little bit of Man Thing from maybe like, because I know he was like in like an episode for like Ultimate Spider-Man like years ago, but I haven't really seen or read too much about Man Thing.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
they've utilized him a lot. You know,
Mhm.
he doesn't
Yeah,
really
this-
appear in a lot of stories. But yeah, that's
But it's interesting if you go back with Man Thing's history. His first appearance was in Savage Tales, which was
yeah.
a magazine. It wasn't
Right,
even
yeah.
in comic book form. It was a magazine, and it was when Marvel was kind of trying to do the more adult orientated stories.
okay.
And that's why they were made into magazine sizes that were different from comic book sizes, because if they were made in magazine sizes, they were more directed toward people that would buy magazines, which would be adults. So they would be put in the magazine section,
Kind of get it
and
out
they
there.
didn't have to have the Comics Code Authority, because these
Right.
books came out in the 70s. So at the time, the Comic Book Authority was the whole thing for everybody.
Right.
Like Marvel, DC, they weren't allowed to do anything that broke that code. And then by the time that we hit the 80s, though, that's when we get, DC finally messing with the dark stuff with like the Dark Knight Returns, Killing Joke. And then eventually we would go up to like, Alan Moore's run on Swamp Thing that would kind of start everything that would become Vertigo. Vertigo was Black Orchid, it was Sandman, it was Doom Patrol. It was all these different, stories that weren't very popular, but Vertigo really kind of blew them up and made them into
Right.
something that was timeless, it feels like.
Right.
Okay.
But with Man Thing, though, I know that his first appearance was in that Savage Tales #1. And it's actually really the art was pretty good for that first appearance. I really enjoy it because there's a reprint, and I think Monsters Unleashed. That was another magazine that Marvel was doing at the time. That was that more horror themed stuff, and that stuff was pretty brilliant too.
Nice.
Wasn't that the Monster Unleashed thing? That was like Dracula, right? And like all the creatures of there's I know there's like Marvel has their own like little monster squad type thing going on with Werewolf by Night, Dracula, I think Man Thing.
Isn't there like isn't like a monsters version of the Howling Commandos?
I think it's something along those lines. It's kind of like, I don't know if you guys have ever watched the movie Monster Squad. It's kind of along those lines.
Maybe.
Okay.
But Monsters Unleashed was really, it was kind of anthology stories is what it began as. It was anthology stories for them to be able to explore horror, because Marvel isn't really known for their horror, but they've always done it. Like, I mean, you had Tomb of Dracula with art by Gene Colan, and then you had, of course, Werewolf by Night, which started in that Marvel spotlight. And we kind of started getting more of the horror. I feel like they were really booming with horror in the 70s. 70s was their time to really explore that. And then DC, I feel like, really encapsulated what horror could be in the comic genre. And that's what they did with Sandman. Like, if you read issue 6 of Sandman, that's that 24-hour diner. issue, and that's just it can be terrifying at times, you know.
Right.
Yeah. I got Sandman on audiobook. I had it on audiobook. And I actually like it for some reason like that. I like listening to it um, through the audio more than reading for some reason. I'm not a big reader, but when it comes to comics, mangas, all of that, I always sit there and read. But anything else, no. I'm good.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
that's not a bad
If it
idea
piques
at
my
all.
interest, I'll read it. I'll read it to my heart's content.
Right.
As
Sandman I
long
think
as
is
it
worth the read, and
interest.
it's because of the art that coincides with it. The art in for Sandman is something that's different. You know, it's something that's like it's not the same format, and it's not always the same kind of concept. And I think that's what I enjoyed about reading Sandman was that it was, you know, they would change artists, they would change, you know, the flow of how the stories would go, and it was always something different. And I like that it wasn't one cohesive story. It wasn't like, you know, he gets back all of his stuff and then, you know, he goes right into the doll's house. Like the doll's house was the second story arc, but like then after that you get A Midsummer's Night's Dream, Calliope, Facade, and I think there was one more. But you get kind
We'll
of
be
like a
right
set
back.
of issues
Go
that
grab a
are
beverage.
completely different from what was going on in the flow of the story. Like Doll's House ends, and then it's like, okay, what is this Facade about? And if
Right.
I remember Facade, that one involved Element Woman. And if you know Element Woman, she was
Oh,
kind of like the metamorpho female counterpart. And she ends up killing herself in that story. And
Yeah.
it's very,
Dark.
you know, real. It feels very, you know, she hates the way that she is. She doesn't want to be that anymore, and she wants an out. And I think that it's a really nice story that involved death. And I think that death, she's definitely one of my favorite characters
hands
in
down.
anything.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah.
So much better than Marvel's death. I mean,
I know, just
Yeah.
skull and bones. That's all we see.
Now that's the one thing DC got right was the whole uh the Sandman and like all of his siblings what was
the
it
endless
Desire
destruction,
yeah
Yeah, Dream,
delirium.
Destiny,
Dream.
Desire, Death, Destruction, Delirium, and Despair.
Despair.
Did I say Despair? I
This-
don't know if I said Despair. But
I don't-
Delirium used to be Delight.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
I
desire.
actually like reading those, man. I love reading those, man.
Oh yeah, and there's actually like if you're interested in knowing more about them, there's a trade paperback that was released as a trade paperback called Endless Nights, and it's a prequel per se, and it's about each of the Endless, and it goes through each of the Endless, and it has some pretty phenomenal art. And
Yeah.
I think it's Neil Gaiman writes every story, but he has a different artist come on and do the art for the story that he's telling. So I think that like Bill Sienkiewicz got Delirium, Dave McKean got who did I think Dave McKean got one, but I'm trying to think of which one he got. But they had quite a few artists on there. I think Frank Whiteley was on there, so it had some pretty big names tied to it. But I felt like that was a pretty good entry for Sandman as well, and it's something for people to jump on and kind of understand the characters a bit more.
Do you have that at the shop?
Oh man, I wish we did, but I think that's something that could be ordered in though. I think that's something that could be ordered.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh man, that'd be awesome.
I gotta own that.
Amazing read.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing, I think, with DC and Marvel, like how Marvel is outdoing DC in the movies department and stuff like that, is because like I think DC like they need better writers or directors. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think their strong suit is the animated series and this Sandman, the last like show that they did.
Mhm.
CW ain't it for sure. No,
The
no
show,
sir.
the show. I mean,
Uh,
they're getting a little bit lackluster. Some of them are, but no. Like I will always say, I've always said, Marvel has done great with movies. DC is always dominated with like television shows. It
yep,
started with the show, and it kept going there as long as possible. And there's only like the Flash and Stargirl and
yep.
Superman left, but which are all still like phenomenal. But still, no. And you're right too. The animated stuff is still like going strong as well.
Solid.
Exactly. Exactly.
Me,
Like,
I'm a big fan of Doom Patrol. I think they did Doom Patrol really well. I
They
feel like that was one that
uh,
surprised me. It actually made me a fan of the comic, and I went out and bought the comic afterwards. Of course, the Grant Morrison run. That's what I went straight
mm,
for,
Mhm.
was the Grant
gotta
Morrison
get
run,
that.
since that's what it's more based off of. But
they
Doom
just announced
Patrol,
they just
brilliant.
announced the when season 4 is going to be out like later this year, December 8th.
I'm excited for it,
And
Number 8.
yeah, and they announced that too. Season 4 will be out November 3rd next month.
and that's exciting too. I need to
Oh,
actually
really?
sit down and watch Titans. I had
It's
heard, like, I didn't really, it didn't capture my attention with that first season, but since they're going into, 3 and 4 and all that, I should probably catch up, see what it's all about, really.
Okay,
I would
yeah,
I would say I think season 3 is my favorite
Oh yeah.
Titans because they go to Gotham and they do a lot with the characters and we get Red Hood in it.
yeah.
He's a badass Red Hood in this.
You
Right.
know what
The
I feel like?
the
I
show
feel
that
like
y'all talking about is Titans, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Oh, I just seen an announcement where they said they're introducing Brother Blood and
Mhm.
Jinx
Yeah,
and
and Lex Luthor.
oh yeah,
That's gonna
really
be pretty dope.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh yeah, yeah.
isn't their Lex Luthor a black guy?
Mm-mm.
I
No,
am liking Titans though. I am liking it a lot.
no. They announced Titus Welliver. I'm not sure if you know the name,
What
but
is it?
he's gonna be
Yeah,
Luthor.
Oh,
yeah, I do remember that.
Weirdly, my favorite Lex Luthor has been, and don't judge me on this, John Cryer from Supergirl.
Oh, you're good.
Mm-hmm.
That's perfect.
Because
Way better than Jesse
Smallville
Eisenberg.
Lex Luthor. I
Yeah,
like
or
Smallville Lex Luthor. He was one of my favorites.
I won't judge you as long as you don't say Jesse Eisenberg.
oh,
that I'm
oh.
talking about.
Ooh.
Oh,
Oh, poor guy.
I love Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh, but
I'm
no,
kidding.
when they announced, like
Just
person when you think of John
Dante
Cryer,
looked at you. He was like, "You're
oh my
disowned."
God. Oh my God.
Uh,
But no, when you hear the name John Cryer, you think, oh man, not the funny guy
John
from like
Cryer.
yeah, the funny guy from 2.5 Men. Oh, he's gonna be a bad guy, but
Yeah.
oh, he is so good as he like it's unreal like visceral and like how commanding he is like Lex Luthor. It took me by surprise, and he's probably one of the best villains from those shows, and probably
Yeah.
yeah.
There's only been one bad Lex Luthor in my book.
With Jesse.
There's only been one bad Lex Luthor. I love
and they have not brought him back, so that tells you something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a big fan of Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor. Taking it old school with the
Old school, man. Yeah.
old school. That's
Yeah.
where it's at for me.
You want to know something? For in Superman like 4, apparently John Cryer was like he was in it as Lex Luthor's like nephew or something. I think.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember his name, his character's name, but yeah,
But we don't talk about those last two.
that's the only reason.
Superman 3 and the Quest for Peace. We don't talk about those.
Nah.
What? Wait, they found peace? No,
They
that
did?
Never found
I think
peace.
that's what the fourth one was called. It was Superman: The
No.
Quest for Peace. I think that was the.
Oh, I get
And then never found peace from that movie.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
No, I actually think like if DC ever brought the Batman Who Laughs to big screen, I don't. There's a couple ways it could go.
Wait, last laugh or killing joke?
It could either be really, really good or horrible. Horrible.
Now, are you talking about the Batman Who Laughs from the Dark Multiverse?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dark Knight's Metal and all
Yeah.
that.
That one, I feel like we should wait quite a bit for him.
No,
I feel like
definitely that. If anything, I say they should animate it. I would like to see that.
Oh yeah.
Because
Got
like, killing joke and like that turned out really well.
I had issues with the whole Barbara Gordon Batgirl Batman like sex scene in the Killing Joke. That didn't need to be there. That was I was like, oh man, like that it messed up the flow of the movie for one, and then two, it was just like Batman's like a father figure to both Batgirl and Dick Grayson, and I'm over here like that's kind of I don't know about that.
Well, he's more of a father figure to Dick Grayson, most because he has no family, and Barbara still has her father, but
it's still Jim.
But yeah, but I know what you mean. I mean, I could have taken it or leaving it, but still, and also you gotta figure he's got to get his rocks off somewhere. Like if not with Selena,
that's what Catwoman's for.
That's she wasn't in the movie. She wasn't in town.
God dang, bro.
It's a lonely night in the cave. Like she's just strolling around. Like I don't know.
I'm trying to tell y'all, man. Bruce a thought.
That's why I like when they
Bruce
explore her relationship with Jason Todd in The Three Jokers. I don't know if you guys ever read that, but there's a small kind of thing where like Jason clearly has some kind of feelings for Barbara Gordon, and he tries to express them, and then if you get to the end of it, you understand what happens and why it didn't end up going any further. But it's just interesting to see like her relationship with the different Robins over the years,
right?
Because there was that relationship with Dick Grayson.
I was trying to say Barbara was out here like that.
Oh yeah, Barbara.
Yeah, because like they've had her with like a couple of like the Robins like in different medias. They had her with Dick and like the original animated series and some of the comics, and even with Tim Drake from like the Arkham games.
What that mouth do?
Throwing it back.
Nah.
Barbara.
I mean,
Barbara.
Do that to me.
Give me them digits, Barbara.
Sir.
Dang,
Sir.
You out here sharing with everybody. I'm better than Batman. I'm Black Man.
you better go up to like.
Man, I'm better than Batman. I'm the Fat Man.
Hey.
More cushion for the pushing.
Oh my god.
Dad Bar Gang represent.
I don't know, but I think Catwoman needed to holler at me as well. That's all I'm saying.
You know who need to holler at me? Elsa Bloodstone. That's who can holler at me.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Who the guys play Elsa was pretty.
I liked her.
That's my girl.
I was thrown off though. I almost was like Jessica Jones. When she first popped up, I was like,
dude, I thought that was her.
That's what I thought at first because I hadn't looked at the cast. I was like,
dude, I had a double take.
She does look a little bit
thicker version.
Yeah, for sure. And and she definitely knows how to move for sure. But no, yeah, it was great. And I liked when she fought the big guy with the axe. I was like, okay, she's fighting a little bit like Black Widow there. So like, okay, yes.
She got hands. She got some serious hands. Yeah.
And the choreography was actually pretty good. Like all the fight scenes for Werewolf by Night.
Around your neck.
Probably just realized I brought my snake out.
Probably probably my favorite fight scene from part of fighting from Werewolf by Night was when they went into the corridor where it was the werewolf. Jack is a werewolf, in with all against the TVA agents, and the door was closing slowly, the lighting, and
Yeah.
just even
Yeah.
and the blood splattering on the camera, like the lens. That I thought that was really great.
Definitely.
Right.
Do you guys think like it really was TVA agents that came through, or
That's what That's what we all thought, but
yeah,
we never really know, like anyone. I mean, they had the same weapons and similar armor, but
yeah, but
I don't know.
I really have a feeling like they're gonna do a little bit more exploring with damage control with this phase of Marvel in the next couple of phases, and I think that might have been like damage control in the past. That's what I'm thinking, or no, because
they
Werewolf by Night
didn't
was
really
set
say-
in present.
Well, also they never really said like what year, like what time period it was, because
right.
Because no, they've never really said like it was like the 50s or 70s or what era, what decade. But yeah, I mean, we don't. For all we know, it could be like in our present, or it could be like 50 years ago. So
Like 2022, like yeah, that'd be crazy.
Oh yeah. And then just the fact that like at the end of the movie, it went from being black and white to color. Like, you know, why did it change all of a sudden? Why is it turning into this? And like that, I had seen some article or something where they were talking about it could possibly be that she is in a different universe. Since this is the multiverse saga, that she could be in a different universe in which we can get the rest of the dark kind of characters that we're building towards. Like, but I don't know what they're gonna do with Blade. Apparently, we're having issues with getting it off the ground. I think they said the director left.
Yeah,
Mahershala Ali is so pissed, bro.
They doing
He is
him
so
dirty.
pissed.
I don't blame them. But I did hear that they are looking to maybe have Sam Raimi direct Blade now.
That'd be interesting. I'd like to see what he could do with Blade.
I mean, we've seen what he's done with Doctor Strange, and that was phenomenal.
That was incredible.
And of
I had
course,
a lot of fun with that movie. That one was a lot of fun.
That's my top 5 for all of Marvel live action for sure. Top 5 for me.
That one I ranked for top 10 for sure, because I liked it as much as I loved the first one. I liked this one a lot better.
So much better.
Oh, the use of the Illuminati though. That's what made me the happiest. Seeing Patrick Stewart. That was the best part of the movie for me. I was like, he's back.
What made me happy was seeing like all of our memes and dreams come true, and we saw like Jim as Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Right. It's almost like the Spider-Man meme that they did for No Way Home.
Yeah.
That everybody pointing.
Right.
That was so dope.
Oh my gosh.
They even played the X-Men animated theme song when Patrick Stewart rolled out. That was
right. Man, I'm so excited for this X-Men animated show coming back.
X-Men 97, yeah.
Yo, the animated show coming back?
Yeah, and they're bringing back with the original voice actors too.
They sure are.
Yo.
I don't know a bunch about the new show, though. I think I heard like Magneto might be leading the X-Men in this one.
He is.
It'd be pretty interesting to see. Like, I mean, because Magneto, back in I would say the 80s, is about the time that Magneto was kind of reforming, becoming a better person. He ended up leading the team of New Mutants for a while because I guess Xavier was gone with the Shi'ar Empire. So Magneto had kind of taken over the school and was watching over the New Mutants and all that. So there was that time period he was a good guy. And then we hit the 90s. They revamped X-Men with the new #1 with I think it was Jim Lee and Chris Claremont. They wrote that #1 and he became a bad guy once more. And I think he's been on and off. But then that Hickman run, it changed him completely. It felt like, you know, he was more level-headed, it felt like, and he was trying to follow along with the plan to make an island nation for all the mutants, like in Genosha, just where it can work.
Like, how close are y'all for Secret Wars? Like, Secret Wars.
Secret Wars will be. It's a good 2-3 years away, but it's gonna be epic. It's gonna be big.
Yeah.
It's after what I've just learned about it, man, the possibilities are endless. But I have a theory already of how that's going to go.
Well,
Like Doctor Doom?
well, it's definitely got to have Doctor Doom. You can't not have.
You can't have Secret Wars without him.
Right.
At all.
Yeah, no, Doom
No.
is a big part of it.
Doom is
Exactly.
a problem, bro.
Yeah.
People sleep like back then. They slept on Doom, but he's a very capable villain.
He's one of the
Very capable.
He's one of the best and like baddest villains in Marvel for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
been one of my favorite villains for a while.
I think he's real interesting. I like what Stan Lee had said about Doctor Doom, though, where
What's that?
he was like, he didn't even consider Doom a villain.
Really.
You know, it's not a crime to want to rule the world.
Okay,
It's
right.
not a crime. I mean, you're not wrong. There
And
are crimes
that's
along
his
the
whole
way,
thing
but-
is that he just wants to rule the world. That's all Doom wants to do. Now, Doom's done some pretty criminal things.
Oh yeah, he's
right.
Yeah.
Along
Absolutely.
the way, there's crimes, but ruling the world, no.
But yeah, no, but Stan Lee believed that the concept of Doom was that all he wanted to do was rule the world. And that's not something that should make someone a villain. It's just it's a dream of his to have.
And he sure is putting in the effort to make it happen too.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, he already has his own country.
Yeah.
I
I'm sorry. What was you about to say, bro?
I heard that he might be like in a post-credit scene for Black Panther.
Oh yeah,
That's what we heard too. There's
And it
supposedly a leak that shows that.
And it would make sense. I mean, Wakanda is a very like private, like isolated nation, and Latveria is pretty as its own nation, its own kingdom. So yeah.
Yeah.
In the comics too, Dr. Doom is the reason why Atlantis and Wakanda go to war in the first place too.
Then that might be what's happening here.
Yeah.
Because he wants that vibranium.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see the Submariner, though. Man.
Namor.
Doesn't he look good?
First mutant. First mutant.
First real mutant, yes.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what I'm excited for is the dawn of mutant kind. I'm ready for that to really start to come in. And I hear them talking, they might start off with that Hickman stuff.
Okay.
With introducing them. Kind of like having their own island, kind of being
Genosha,
their own thing separate from society as a whole in every country, you know?
Right.
Yeah,
but
that could be it.
If they go the Hickman way, what does that mean? What they have Charles in the wheelchair, or like have him like in the Hickman, like with the helmet?
That's a good question. I don't know if we're going to see Charles with the wheelchair. You know, it's something that I think because we've had the X-Men movies already. We've already had several happen before. You had the original three, you had them do the First Class trilogy, and then they had the Dark Phoenix movie. So like we've already been exposed to enough X-Men for them, I think, to really build off of that Hickman stuff. I think that we understand who Magneto is and why he acts the way he does towards humankind and why he believes in the Homo Superior and everything like that. So I kind of see them building off of what X-Men movies we already had. And with the announcement of Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine in Deadpool 3, I can imagine them pulling in more lore from that original X-Men run that we've seen in the movies.
Because he's got three years left on contract with Fox, I think. And
Ryan Reynolds.
So the rest of them, Hugh. And what's their name? Famke Janssen that plays Jean Grey, Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
All those cats. They got till 2025. And,
Oh, yeah.
then Marvel might recast them.
Well, yeah.
I really wish that they'll keep the New Mutants cast. The New Mutants cast I felt was spot on, especially was it Anya Taylor-Joy?
Yeah, she was
who played Magic. Magic was the best part of the movie.
100%. Yes, I loved her. Just everything about her attitude, her snarkiness, and as well as just the fact that she was a badass, the demon bear.
Magic.
Anya.
Oh, was it Anya Olivia?
Anya Joy or Johnson?
Anya.
I thought it was Anya Taylor-Joy.
I thought it was
Anya
2.
Taylor Joy.
There you go.
Okay.
Yep, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
26. God dang.
She's 26.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only 2 years younger.
Friend's gone.
Yeah, I would want to see them too.
Taylor Joy. Taylor Joy.
Taylor
Okay.
Joy.
Open
Oh, there.
season. Open
I would want to
season.
see the New Mutants too, but if I had to pick like one person to like come back 100%, definitely her for sure.
Hands
yeah.
down.
I would like to see her come back. And even the guy, like, I felt like that cast was just spot on for the new
Yeah,
Mutants.
for sure.
Especially
Mhm.
the guy who played like Sam Guthrie and
Charlie
the guy who
Day,
played Sunspot and all that. I felt like they had chosen the right characters, right
Yeah.
people to play those characters.
Yeah, I'm starting to like Sunspot. I'm really starting to like that
Oh, yeah.
character.
Sunspot's
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Oh yeah,
good.
he's real interesting, especially in like the current stuff, because he's just kind of
Yeah.
because he's the rich boy, can kind of
Mhm.
have in his like two people. I like any time that he just kind of pops up and is like, "But you guys could have always picked me. I have money too."
Yeah.
You don't always have to go to Tony Stark. What are you all talking about?
Yeah.
Screw Tony. It's like,
Man.
ooh.
I don't know.
That's Gibbs' favorite mutant right there, Sunspot.
I really think they should bring freaking
Get rid of the person
Robert
playing Sunspot.
Hardy
Sunspot,
J
yeah.
back
Who?
for like a little bit. Like, I don't know, man. Everybody loves Robert Downey Jr.
Oh,
Like,
Robert Downey
he's the
Jr.
only
Oh,
person
RDJ.
I can see
Mm.
as Tony Stark. Like, I can't picture nobody else.
No.
I heard a rumor like when they were filming Doctor Strange that that they were gonna do a different version of Iron Man, like the superior Iron Man for the Illuminati, and that they were going to have
Tom Cruise.
play him.
Yeah.
Granted, that didn't happen, and it's probably a good thing, but still.
I don't
That's how I
want it.
see it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not a Tom Cruise fan though, so I mean that's my.
He's
I was
too
okay with it. I wasn't that
busy
hurt.
flying fighter planes and jumping out of buildings.
Yeah,
Right.
he can go ahead and do. He can stick with that. I don't think that
He could
him
be
being
Hal
Iron
Jordan,
Man, he
maybe.
wouldn't be able to do that. I think he would just be like, show up, show his cameo, and then that would be it. Because that's what it was with the rest of them, though. It felt like with the Illuminati, it was like they showed up, they were there for maybe 10 minutes, and then
did all of them in.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
all
rest
of
in
them
peace.
died.
yeah, it
Dude,
was just
I
like
think Black Bolt got it
gone.
worse.
What mouth?
Black
Black
Bolt
Bolt was
got
my
it
favorite.
worse.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh!
just
I
What mouth?
think Black Bolt I was surprised to see him the most because I did not think he was gonna, because he played Black Bolt in the show that was tanked. So it just made me happy to see that did not ruin his like love, like, and like not make him not want to come back to play him again.
Yeah. I really don't think he deserved the death that he got.
I mean, none of them did.
Yeah,
but especially him. But yes, none of them did. But especially him, yes.
I thought Mr. Fantastic getting turned into ribbons, and I thought that was cool. But
that was pretty cool. But I feel like he could come back from that.
Yeah,
I feel like he's Mr. Fantastic. His whole thing is that he can stretch. It's not like Black Bolt. Black Bolt got his whole brain just caved in.
Like, speak a word and everything just melted. Just
like that was it for Black Bolt. Like at least with Mr. Fantastic, you just gotta just bring it all back together.
Yep, just put it all back.
You know, Scarlet Witch was at peak emotion when she could just what mouth.
What mouth.
Like I really feel like, hey, Black Bolt. I could picture him like trying to go up to Scarlet and be like, you know what, girl.
Yeah, and as
you know what I could do with this mouth, and she'd be like, what mouth?
Yeah, he but
he's like
finding that because there's no way he could. Oh man,
he could have said, "What that mouth do?"
What mouth?
Just wait, and I'll show you.
Right.
She wasn't having it at all.
She was like, no.
And that is a good case of like a really good villain. Like Like,
Mm.
because I didn't want her to be a villain, she did a great job of like playing her like to a T. Because
And
she's
you understood where she
yeah,
was
no,
coming
no,
from.
she's
It's
been with her
Because
realistic
a
too.
mother would do anything for her children.
right, absolutely. And we've known this character for 7 to 8 years, and we understand like why, and just it breaks
Yeah.
our hearts even more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really did.
It was so realistic. The fact that what would it feel like to get chased by Scarlet Witch, and then Doctor Strange #2 answered it.
Because she
That's
really is
what
like
it feels like to
she
get
really is
chased
like
by
one of
her.
the most powerful beings in like Marvel. Like,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Could you
Anytime you
imagine
can
she
say no
want
more
you dead?
mutants, and
I
in
mean,
multiple like realities or universes, you could cause a ripple
hmm
of
Yeah.
effects. Man, that is crazy.
Can you imagine like she'd be like, I want Cameron's powers and he's going to give them to me. And you have to run from her. Could you imagine?
Hey, what if?
I would just give them willingly and just be like, please spare me, and then just like she just chops my head off.
No mercy
She'd
whatsoever.
be like, Deontay, I want to peg you. You'd be like, no,
Not today.
not today.
Gosh.
What
Not
peg?
today.
What peg?
Oh, you don't have it.
Oh
Trust
my
me.
gosh.
You don't
I'm
have
gonna
it.
use my
Oh.
I'm gonna use my chaos magic. What peg?
Oh my oh my
What
god.
peg?
I really hope we get she's not gone and like we get to see more of her.
I don't think she is. We didn't
She'll
even
be
see a
back.
body.
She'll be back.
That's what I try to think of mine too. Even though like that was a huge like mausoleum like mountain that fell on top of her, but no, hopefully
Ain't no mausoleum mountain gonna stop Scarlet. No.
no, but still.
Yeah, she's gonna link back up with Agatha because she didn't even get training from Agatha in the first place. But I think she will go back.
Does she need it at this point?
That's a good question. Yeah, she probably don't need it.
Like,
No.
Like, what does Agatha know that she don't? Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I think that she'll be the catalyst for the mutants coming in. You know, I
Yeah.
wonder if it's going to be like a reverse House of M. Like instead of no more mutants,
she brings in
More
the
it'd be
mutants.
like let there be mutants. You know,
That would be really, really good. Either for all we know, she could like rewrite reality and make it though so that that Quicksilver is back alive as a mutant as well, and like they're not Sokovian, they're Genoshan, and Magneto's their father. Like she could, for all we know, she could rewrite reality to the point where like Doctor Strange like wiped everyone's memory of Peter Parker, who he was, and it affected everything. It could be on that level.
right?
Yeah.
That would be sick. I'd be all for that.
She could definitely do it. If I had one request to her, I'd be like, please bring Robert Downey Jr. back. Please.
He was originally supposed to be in like a scene in Black Widow, but I think it was either cut or it didn't happen.
She'll probably be like, what about Cap? No, screw Cap. No, I don't want him back.
That's the one thing Marvel kind of showed up and showed out with, because they've only had one of so many different live action characters, where DC has like 40 different Bruce Waynes, 40 Jokers, 60 Superman. It's like,
true. Like the most that they have of like would probably be like of like Captain America or Thor or Hulk, because of like the older movies from like the 80s, like Lou Ferrigno and just like
yeah.
You got three Bruce Banners.
Mm-hmm. Well, four. Don't forget Banner.
Yeah. Oh man, DC got it bad.
Edward Norton was like
more variety and more options, so like for people to like argue over which is the best. So there's that.
Yeah, and then there's 3 Peter Parkers.
But think about it. Shoot, if they are going the route of Secret Wars, then yeah, like they could definitely have the different versions of Spider, because they did that with Secret Wars. They had a couple different versions of Thor. I'm not sure about Spider-Man, but Thor, Mephisto, Hulk.
There was more than one Strange, I think, too, wasn't it? because they're no, they'll probably use Benedict
I know Reed.
Cumberbatch.
There was a couple Reeds up in there, different versions of Reed.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
but I think the hardest part to figure out is like what is the Black Panther situation because people,
Mm,
Well,
you know, Shuri isn't going to put the Infinity Gauntlet on, so
yeah.
what's going on
well,
with that situation?
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
If has any of you guys like seen like the new trailer they put up like a week ago? Or
Hmm.
well,
They showed her in the suit,
mm,
but
And they're
she
speculating
also
there's
makes
two
the
different
suits.
uh women, two different Black Panthers, I guess. Right?
Oh well,
Because
the
that's what I heard.
speculation so far is that it's strictly Shuri and
right.
nobody else. But Shuri
There
makes
was
the
one
suits,
guy.
and she has like 4 or 5 different suits.
Yeah, I would imagine
So,
Right.
she designs her suit. And my only other guess would have been like Nakia for some reason,
There was one guy that
bingo.
pointed that out.
but
In the new poster, they had the Black Panther in the back, and they had, I think they had Nakia right there in the middle,
Hmm.
and then I guess Shuri up there as Black Panther. But they were like, if you look at Nakia's like suit, it kind of does resemble a different version of the Black Panther suit. Um, I think from the trailer or whatever. Let me hold up. Let me.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm
don't really
interested to see what they're gonna do with it because I thought wasn't the Black Panther like didn't they get their powers from
from
going
the
through
From
that
Plant.
ritual?
from the
Yeah.
heart shape.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
wonder if we're gonna see her explore that, or if we're gonna see. I actually wonder if they're gonna like corrupt her in some way because I think in the continuity, like for the comics, I think she becomes Black Panther for a short while, and then I think they take it away from her.
Shuri
Who's
or Nakia?
that? Shuri?
Yeah, Shuri. I
Yeah.
think that they do that to her in the comics. I think that she has it for a short time period, and then they take it away from her. And I think it's because she was either corrupted or something like that. So I wonder if that's going to be explored. I would like to see M'Baku
Yeah.
become like maybe the next Black Panther. I think that him. I think it'd be interesting to see what M'Baku could do.
Yeah, because
Also, Killmonger was Black Panther at one time. Also,
yeah, a lot of people think that Killmonger Jr. Or Eric Killmonger Jr. was probably gonna get the suit too, but Shuri's still kind of the same timeline as Infinity War, just maybe like 2 years older. So Killmonger's kid can't be that much bigger.
they would have to bring back
If you
Killmonger for that.
well,
I mean, 'cause- I don't know, man. I don't know.
well, I mean, I've heard that they're trying to that they might have Michael B. join in the movie, but not to like bring him back like to life. I've heard like maybe like she'll see him in the astral plane and just like or like something like, but I mean I've seen the trailer and like I feel like it's 100% Shuri like
Yeah,
the
no,
design
Yeah.
the
Oh,
design of the suit and just like the headpiece, but no, I mean
Yeah.
hopefully
yeah,
I
no
mean,
doubt.
yeah, and hopefully
Yeah,
if
she's not taking the mantle in my opinion. She's wearing the suit for sure as self-defense from the Atlantean attack, but
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that title's going to be given away to somebody from Dora Milaje or whatever. But
well
Shuri will be temporary in the suit.
well, possibly. I mean, for all we, if anything, she could be the Black Panther, but they could always make like Nakia like queen of Wakanda, possibly.
yeah,
The mother will be supposedly the mother will be alive for a whole quite a while longer, unless they kill her in this movie.
Right.
I expect her to be queen for a long time, and then Shuri is like the face of Wakanda, and she's able to handle all of the outside politics for her. So that's what I think is going to go on. Like her
until she,
giving a vibranium to Riri Williams, and she puts vibranium in the Ironheart suit and all
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
That's going to be the start of like some politics and going
Yeah.
on.
And then I heard they're doing an Armor Wars movie now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
and I think
Gonna be
with that talks of like Robert Downey Jr., I feel like that would be the time to really incorporate Robert Downey Jr. back into it, is during like that Ironheart either series or during the Armor Wars. But I don't think bringing him back would do anything. I think that it would be something kind of like how Jarvis was,
Mhm.
the voice. I feel like Robert
Yeah.
Downey Jr. could be the next Jarvis for Ironheart and for
Mm.
all of the suited heroes that we're gonna see, like
Right.
War Machine and characters like that.
Right.
That's what I expect. She
Also,
has a Jarvis system called Natalie, and I think Natalie's coming. And
That'd be pretty cool
but
to see.
I think Tony Stark might be a part of her backstory because Riri was in an MIT program, and she kind of like had runs in with Tony, and she got all her inspiration from one of his suits. And then we'll probably in a TV show we'll get like one episode where Robert just shows up and hangs out with her and all that, and then shows what she gets into after that.
Right. Yeah. Because we're gonna see her in Black Panther for sure, and
Mhm.
and whenever her show comes out, I think next year, will either show a connection to Iron Man or Stark, like he could have funded like a program of like hers that she was working on like the last couple of years because he went to MIT and like and so yeah, that she could probably met him like just by off chance or something and inspire him.
Yeah, I wonder if Feige would greenlight that, like just one more appearance. Well, if he greenlights that, he's going to greenlight RDJ in Secret Wars too. So we'll see RDJ a few times.
Maybe.
the version of the other Iron Man that I really want to see is the version that Iron Lad, where Kang becomes, Iron Man. That version. I would love to see him. That'd be cool. That'd be super cool.
Man, that's why I'm excited for this Armor Wars. We don't know what's gonna come along with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Totally from scratch story from what it sounds like. All we got confirmed is Justin Hammer, War Machine, and
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was a rumor that I heard that Sam Rockwell was coming back as Hammer, and that they might be bringing back Paul Bettany as White Vision.
That's true.
Well, we
heard
haven't
that was
seen
true.
White Vision since the end of WandaVision.
WandaVision, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I also wonder if they're going to do something with the West Coast Avengers. I wonder if that's going to be what it leads up to. Because, I mean, I know they had already introduced some of those West Coast Avengers during that She-Hulk episode. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard since they introduced them, I feel like we might be getting a West Coast Avengers movie in the near future. Just because we have White Vision and we have several other characters popping up that were on that team.
And isn't Kate Bishop a West Coast Avenger too?
I think so. I think at some point she ends up becoming a West Coast Avenger. Because she's a part of that new wave, like she was the next Hawkeye, and then you had like Ironheart to replace Iron Man, and then you had
Yelena as the next Black Widow, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of that situation.
I kind of think I think they may be working their way towards like a Young Avengers, like maybe possibly, because they're getting like the new kids for sure, like Kate Bishop, Yelena, and they
Miss Marvel.
I think Isaiah Bradley's grandson in because isn't he like Patriot or something?
I forgot what his superhero name.
I don't remember either. His name's Eli Bradley. I remember that.
Okay.
I've seen his suit though. I've seen his comic book photo of him in a suit, and I just cannot remember his name.
And Isaiah Bradley's going to be in like Captain America 4, so for all we know, we could see his grandson in there too.
Yeah, they're going to have the new Falcon in there.
Danny Ramirez, yeah.
Yeah. and then they're supposed to be facing off with the leader.
They
And
are. Yeah.
That's gonna
Mhm.
be
Tim Blake
interesting
Nelson.
to see. Is the
Tim Blake
leader.
Nelson is coming back for that 14 years after, or 6. I don't know. It's been a long while.
yeah, and a lot of the events that's taking place in She-Hulk now is kind of like leader this, leader that, Red Hulk. It's been some Easter eggs and some candy in there.
They definitely made a joke about Red Hulk in the last episode.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen in this next episode because how they ended it, it was just. I felt terrible, but I just don't. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, this season finale is this Thursday, so this is gonna be interesting.
And hopefully we get to see more of her after this because I really like
Yeah.
Tatiana Maslany as She-Hulk.
She killed it. She is the perfect Jennifer Walters, easily
Oh yeah,
down to the detail. I don't think they could have picked anyone better.
I don't think so either.
I have a theory that this season finale is going to have her like pull off a really crazy feat because she's already in that stage of anger, and she's going to get stronger the angrier she gets, and they're going to villainize her and all sorts of stuff, and that's going to.
Yeah, so we just gotta get to the bottom, like where the hell is intelligentsia, and just like be like, where are you motherfuckers at?
Yeah, because I think in the comic book Intelligentsia, they kind of saved the world from the Hulk's wrath and World War Hulk.
Well, they probably believe that they're saving the world from the
Mhm.
Hulks, like Ross did, like for years. But yeah,
And they probably used like the blood that and DNA that they stole from her to either create a new Hulk or figure out a weakness. I think
yeah.
that's what they'll do with that blood.
They could try. They could somehow make like Hulkling or like something like that.
Oh, yeah, I forgot all about that. Because if leader does exist, then he's definitely going to be on Intelligentsia, and then there's a possibility that we might see MODOK, but I doubt we'll see MODOK in the season finale though. But
MODOK's gonna be in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
yeah, and I we'll probably hear his voice, but I don't think we'll see his face. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. I'm still a little bit like suspicious about, like, kind of worried about like Abomination for sure.
Mm-hmm. Cause he's up to no good. I know for a fact he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't think Feige recasted Thunderbolt Ross that quickly. He could have, but
I mean, maybe. I mean, if they actually plan on using Red Hulk like later, I mean, they could. But I don't know who. I've heard that they might try to get Harrison Ford, but I don't know.
yeah, I could see like a post-credit scene of him getting like Jennifer's blood injected into him, and he's like changing right there on the spot. But the backstory of how Thunderbolt got that power is a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
But for the sake of the MCU, I think they'll go that route.
Mm-hmm.
What else had happened in the show? Intelligentsia. They were using Wrecking Crew.
They hired the Wrecking Crew to like try and steal her blood first.
Yeah, and a lot of people had their complaints about that, but I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool seeing them.
I thought it was nice seeing them too. Definitely different. Like, you guys robbing an Asgardian like construction crew is like, yes, yeah. It's different. It's different, but it's good.
Yeah. They've also brought in a lot of D-listers too. Porcupine, freaking
Manbull,
Elegia,
Leapfrog, which was in the last one. Clown.
And what's his name? The vampire guy.
I know what you're talking about. I don't remember his name, but yeah.
they were all just giving Jennifer counseling and all that. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
When you watch She-Hulk, Thomas, like it's funnier than you think, and it's also more serious than you think because it's a good blend of both.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, I still need to get around to watching it. I'm excited though to see all the Daredevil stuff.
Ooh.
That I feel like that's something that like I've been waiting on for quite some time, especially like I've seen like the pictures of like Man-Bull. I was like, oh man, that's something I would have never expected to see on the screen.
Oh,
I would have never
yeah.
expected to see like Man-Bull. And with seeing Man-Bull, I now expect them to do Stilt-Man. If they don't do Stilt-Man, I'm riding.
I mean, we got one more episode left, so you never know. But
Right.
no, but I'm sure you already know. But they literally just had like Daredevil in the last episode, and he still has it. Charlie is.
He's the greatest Matt Murdock of all time.
My favorite scene with him wasn't even like as the Daredevil. It was like in the court scene when he was just being like a badass lawyer.
What are you guys talking about here?
That was one of the greatest court battles I've ever seen. It was so funny too at the same time.
Are y'all talking about She-Hulk?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Matt Murdock kicked her ass in that court battle.
My gosh.
Oh yeah, no,
he kicked her ass, bro.
Did not take much, no. And that's how they are. I mean, like in the battlefield, they're like they got a good repertoire, and they even like flirt a little bit. And then the courtroom, they've got a little bit of like a rivalry. But like, okay, I see you, but still,
yeah, we got to change his name to Dare Daddy.
Well, I mean, you might as well with the amount of relationships he's had. I mean, like we're talking from Karen Page to Elektra Nachios to
Claire.
Claire.
I can't remember what is her.
Well, then you
name?
also had like Typhoid Mary. He had a relationship with Typhoid Mary.
In live action?
No, like in the comics. Like that was part of his relationship. He had a relationship with Black Widow. That's something that I wanted them to explore that so bad.
Yeah.
Was just like the Black Widow thing, because you have that, because that's what happened with Daredevil. Daredevil wasn't doing that great, so they added Black Widow to the title. And in issue 99, you see the conflict arise between Daredevil and Hawkeye, because Hawkeye was in a relationship with Natasha before Daredevil came along.
That was his name. And he's even had Matt Murdock's even had a relationship with Echo too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's had quite a bit. I just wanted to see the Black Widow stuff though before, Black Widow came out and all that. And then when it came out, I was like, oh well, I guess they're not gonna really do that because it'd feel weird with Yelena. And I'm like, nah, I don't know about that.
Yeah. And they were trying to tease us a little bit with her and Bruce Banner, and nobody knew what the heck that was. But
that felt awkward. It felt forced. It felt like it didn't fit the narrative. Like why would this be even going on?
Yeah.
It was just different. It was just different. It worked for a time, and then they just, you know what? Let's move on from this. Let's keep going.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The vampire's name was Saracen. He is
He's a blade and one of the oldest blade foe and one of the oldest. Lord, if they're gonna, what would be a good villain for like Blade? Just like straight up Dracula, or like who?
They messed it up.
His dad. I think his dad would make a good villain. What's his name? Frost would definitely. Well, no, not for the reboot. His dad could make a very compelling villain.
Blade's foes, to be honest.
The fuck is that noise?
What, on your end?
Yeah, it's like.
Why am I looking up, bro? Say you got me tripping, bro.
Man, I think my uncle's doing something in the background. I'm like, what is that noise going on? Somebody saying, "Hooah.
Keep it down over there."
Hooah. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
Oh, war?
Oh
There's
my
something
gosh.
going on outside of my
That's
bed.
the song, dog. Is war. Huh.
Good
You
God,
know,
yo.
okay, I love that song.
As
But
you all
man, with Blade, I feel like if they're gonna do any villain, it's got to be Dracula. You gotta go with the classic Blade because that's his antagonist, is Dracula. You know?
right. That's what I
Yeah.
was thinking too. 'Cause I don't even know that many like his ongoing villains too much, but I do know like Dracula's like the biggest for him. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm about to. I had a good list. I did like a questionnaire a couple months ago about who people would rather see more for Blade reboot. I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick.
Mm.
But he has a dope rogues gallery for sure. Like
isn't like doesn't he either like fight with and fight against Morbius a few times too?
um I believe so.
I would
They
assume
did
he
have to
would
team
at,
up.
at
I
least
think
at
so
some
too.
point.
Yeah,
They
because
did have
like
to team up.
yeah, and because Morbius is like an anti-hero more than probably Blade is, and like as much as Morbius like doesn't want to kill people, like he does have those tendencies, and then that would kind of like cross a line for like Blade. I would think.
Right.
Right. I don't know how I feel about the guy who's playing Blade. He's got to go up against Wesley Snipes, and Wesley Snipes played Blade
Well,
the way that you would
I like.
expect it to be played.
Well, that's
I can
I mean,
count on
it's Wesley
I can
Snipes,
count on him.
but no,
Yeah.
I do like Mahershala Ali, and he's really good. As he did a great job in Luke Cage as Cottonmouth, and
Yeah.
he's been in other movies too. He was Prowler in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And
I still haven't seen that movie.
oh,
That one's actually pretty good.
it's so
Really?
good. Oh yes, one of the best Spider-Man movies I've seen. Like the style is different. It reads and feels like an actual comic book, and it's really good. And they're making like 2, 3 more maybe.
Yeah. I
Yeah, no,
found
I
the
know that
list.
second one should be happening here soon because it's supposed to involve Spider-Man 2099. I think that's the
Yes,
big thing about the second one.
That's my favorite
and they
Spider-Man,
got
Miguel O'Hara.
they got Oscar Isaac voicing him, and what was really cool about the first one was it focused more on Miles Morales becoming Spider-Man.
Oh yeah,
I'm
that
not
was a great introduction to Miles Morales for a lot of people that didn't know who he
Absolutely,
was and what he was about.
and because he, someone says Deontay hates Miles. You not a fan of Miles? Really?
No, I'm a Miles hater for no reason.
For no reason.
You hate Miles Morales?
For no reason. For no reason. Everybody has that one comic book character that they just can't stand for no reason. That's mine. It's like,
I don't know, man. Sometimes I feel like they should have kept him in the Ultimate Universe instead of putting him into the main universe. But I mean, like, I guess it's kind of worked out so far, comic book wise, anyways.
Deontay, you hate Miles? Are you for real? Tell me it ain't true.
Peter Parker, man. I'm diehard Peter Parker fan, man.
I mean, yeah, Peter Parker's cool, but Miles?
Yeah.
He's disappointed in you right so much.
If only I had my camera on, I'll turn it on.
I'll give you a look.
It's like when you look up to somebody as, you know, they your hero and stuff, and then they all of a sudden be like, yeah, man, them kids, man. I'll be like,
oh,
kids. I like every Spider-Man but him. I don't know why. I rank him Peter, Miguel, Spider-Man Noir.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Miles would be at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Just to be cruel and mean and petty. I can't stand him.
I gotta
Oh,
subscribe
man.
to that.
Well,
I'll be right back.
if they decide to keep doing like Tom Holland like Spider-Man movies, I would like them to like maybe like introduce like Miles into the MCU and maybe like have him train him or like be the next Spider-Man.
Yeah,
That'd be pretty interesting to see. And
I
then,
hope they.
like, I mean, we have a lot of spider characters that we haven't even been introduced to yet. Like, I mean, we haven't seen Silk yet. You know,
Mhm.
we haven't
So
seen
good one.
Ben
Or
Riley.
You
or-
haven't
You know,
seen
Ben
Riley.
Riley is a character that we haven't seen in live action or in the Into the Spider-Verse movie either. We didn't see Ben Riley at all.
no, or like even like like Spider Gwen or like Ghost Spider. Like that would be a good
Yeah,
one for live action. Or even like
Spider
Black,
Woman.
yeah, or Spider Woman. She's gonna be in the
Yeah.
next anime one. I know that. Or even like like Noir Spider Man.
Hmm.
That's a good one.
I love Spider-Man Noir for sure. They as far as the Sony verse goes, they're gonna the Madam Web movie that they're working on. They're supposed to introduce a lot of them.
I would
So
imagine so. And
You know, I think they just recently found the lead, didn't they, for that Madame Web movie?
yeah,
yeah,
you remember Dakota
Dakota
Johnson?
Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah, the girl from 50 Shades of Grey.
Mm-hmm.
Not really sure. Well, one, I don't really know. Well, not because of her. It's just I'm not really sure how I feel because like I don't know that too much about Madam Web, like outside like the Spider multiverse, but also, I mean, it would have to be a really, really good script, I guess, to make like a Madam Web movie work, and also just, but no, nothing against Dakota Johnson. I like her. I think she's great, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just feeling different. I mean, and also like out other than Venom, Sony hasn't been doing like great outside of like Spider-Man and Venom lately. And from
Yeah.
what we hear about Craven, that's gonna be some. I don't know. I don't know.
Superhero Craven, ladies and gentlemen.
He's an animal. He's an animal rights protector.
Mhm.
He loves keeping them safe for some
Mm.
reason.
Safe and sound.
Oh Lord, I don't know. Well, if maybe they'll start him out as like a protector for like animals, and then
Make
he'll be
him
like,
hunt.
yeah, because he's more of a villain than an anti-hero, really.
They're I don't know if they'll be able to fix that. I don't know. I don't know if Sony's gonna
I know.
be
I don't
able
know.
to
I mean,
fix that. That's gonna be rough.
I
'Cause
know. I know. But I mean, it can't. It can't. They
you have
can't do.
this.
They can't do any worse than Morbius. And I honestly thought that wasn't terrible. And they
Yeah,
and
it
if they
was.
do if they do as bad as Fantastic Four from 2015, then that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ugh.
oh.
But
I
Deontay,
still have yet to see that Morbius movie. That
It's
one I haven't touched yet.
it's
Matt Smith.
actually yeah, it's actually not the worst I've ever seen. It's actually pretty decent.
a lot
It
of
could have
people be up there hating on it though, man. Talking about, oh, it's horrible. Oh my god.
no, it was
All this
decently
crap,
done.
like bull
It was
crap, man. Like what?
It's fair. It's fair.
it's fair, and
I'm excited to see that Craven the Hunter
It's
movie that they're
okay.
trying
It's
to get
not
off the ground.
Mhm. Yeah, well,
Craven the superhero.
Craven the animal protector, yeah,
animal
no.
rights activists.
more or less, yeah. But I mean, they got Aaron Taylor Johnson to play Craven, so hopefully that helps.
He could
Right.
he could rock it.
Right? And he could be like a hunter by the end of the movie. When does anyone know when that comes out? Anyways,
I don't think they've announced it. Like it's one of those that's been in like they've been trying to get it off the ground.
right?
It's
And I
just
know,
it hasn't gotten off the ground yet.
Yeah, they have a year for it, but they don't have
Yeah.
the month and
Yeah.
days.
yeah, it's coming out. Okay, I just looked up. It comes out October 6th next year.
Oh,
Okay.
So
Okay.
they've got time to like do what they will with it.
I don't know. I kind of want to see them. I don't know. It's weird seeing the Spider-Man villains get their own movies without really any Spider-Man involvement.
Right.
Like to me,
yeah.
I'm like that's what makes the villains is that they're going up against Spider-Man.
Like, yeah.
And this is Spidey's role gallery.
If you're gonna have like a
Is.
Spider-Man villain be the main role of who's he gonna fight? another villain or hero that isn't Spider-Man.
right? And
Yeah,
it's like the Kraven the Hunter movie. I feel like what they should do is that Kraven's Last Hunt. Just do a movie right off the bat. Kraven's Last Hunt. You know,
Okay.
it's not. It doesn't really need very much setup. You just need to set up that he's dying. He's ready to get over with his last hunt. He just wants to kill Spider-Man and then take over.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird because like you have the Madam Web movie coming out, and it's like I there's only I can count on one hand on how many antagonists you can choose from. Craven and his family in the comic books is actually a huge deal for Madam Web. And the sister, Craven's sister, actually kills Cassandra, and Cassandra's powers get passed on to Jessica Drew, I think it was. But if they use that storyline, then maybe Craven has hope. But right now, he's facing up against another drug, not drug dealer, like a poacher, like animal pelt salesman or something. That's the villain of his movie, and he's supposed to take him out.
Well, apparently they're supposed to have Chameleon in it. Like
Chameleon would be interesting to see. I'm waiting for them to do Scorpion as well. I'm waiting to see a Scorpion come to life.
Well, they had Matt Gargan in Homecoming, and he wasn't Scorpion per se, but yeah, they could. And also, I do like Michael Mondo, and he would make a great Scorpion.
I think Scorpion would be pretty cool to see. And then
who's Michael Mondo?
I want to see more Goblin stuff. I want to see a return to the Goblin era, even if it's like the Hobgoblin. We haven't seen the Hobgoblin really.
A lot of people think that are thinking online that it might be Ned who becomes a Hobgoblin.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you want to see like? Would you want to see like a new Norman Osborn, or like them try to do Harry Osborn again? That isn't from Amazing Spider-Man.
I like Norman. Norman is, to me, the only Green Goblin there should have been. I like that they made Harry later on in the books. He kind of took up the mantle of being the Green Goblin, but that didn't last very long.
Yeah, that was
it was always Norman. Norman was the one that always returned back to being Green Goblin.
Right.
So I would like to see him be an antagonist for Spider-Man once more. I would like to see
his own Green Goblin. Yeah, that would be really good.
I want to see them bring that Goblin-esque features to life, though. Because I don't know if you've seen like the test footage of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, but like there's a Goblin kind of animatronic face that they had that they were going to use that had like a skin-like features to it.
Really?
And he had bright eyes, like bright yellow eyes, and the mouth moved along with it. So I would have liked to see something like that. I would like to see them do like a kind of like a mix between that Tobey Maguire and that Andrew Garfield Goblin, where the Goblin serum affects him physically and changes him into like a goblin, but it's not that armor that Willem Dafoe wore in the Tobey Maguire movies.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
I can respect the armor. Like that helmet was sick. I love the design on the helmet.
The original Goblin costume was amazing. Yeah. But no, I know what you mean, but that would be a really good like different take on it for sure.
And I'd like to see him in like that kind of goblin costume that he had in the books, where it wasn't necessarily armor, but it was just like cloth and clothing, and he had like a hood that went over him, and all the things that are like that.
An actual like pumpkin, maybe like looking like bombs and like stuff like that. Yeah.
Didn't he have pumpkin bombs in No Way Home?
I mean, he had the bombs, but they did more like
they weren't
orange.
pumpkin.
They were more like orange like bombs.
They were more like they were pretty much just the same bombs from the Tobey Maguire ones, because even the Tobey Maguire ones, they didn't have the jack-o'-lantern face on.
That's what
it was just that circle with the green dot, and then he would throw them.
They didn't look like jack-o'-lanterns like when you throw them.
I would have freaked out if I saw the pumpkin bombs, like legit pumpkin bombs. I
don't know. I feel like they could wait and just wait for jack-o'-lantern, Jack-o'-lantern. You know, the villain. I would like to see him if they're gonna introduce like weird characters in She-Hulk. introduce like Jack-o'-lantern and Stiltman and characters that are just out of place, like that don't really fit.
Hey, if you want
Yeah,
to do if you want to do a villain for Spider-Man like 4, Wilson Fisk, since we got him back now.
Yeah, well, I could see that, especially since his first appearance was in Amazing Spider-Man 50. So I can see, because Fisk is really just a problem for anybody in New York.
In New York,
street level, pretty much. Yeah.
He's as much of a Spider-Man villain as he is as a Daredevil villain. Even though
Oh, yeah.
probably
Facts.
people recognize him more for Daredevil.
Oh yeah,
I think Kingpin, because I think didn't Kingpin hire Rhino to fight Spidey in one of the live action movies? Like-
No, that was in Amazing 2 when Harry like gave whoever that was access to like the armor, and they gave Alexi the Rhino armor.
And and it was it Andrew or Tom that fought him?
Andrew.
Andrew, yeah.
Yeah.
See that? So if the multiverse cracked, we could get that Lexi Rhino on the loose.
oh yeah.
running
Well,
around.
if you saw in like the when the multiverse like cracked in like the images of the different characters, I think Rhino was one of the characters that we see.
Yeah,
I know Kraven was, and I think
Kraven
Scorpion was.
Scorpion, and there's a few other. I think I saw like the actual like spider, like 8-legged like version, like Spider-Man, like in there too. But there was a lot of them for sure.
Oh yeah.
That sounds very interesting on what but they gotta fix Kraven one way or another. They gotta fix it because the director's idea behind that is gonna, like, people say what they say about Morbius, but wait till they see Kraven and the things they have to say about that. It's gonna be rough.
It's gonna be something. Oh man. Did you guys know they were trying to make a Silver Sable Black Cat movie like years ago?
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, they tried. They were trying to like make a script and like even had like I think a director on or something. But yeah, they were trying to make like a tag team like movie for Silver Sable and Black Cat, but it never took off. It never happened.
That could have been really cool.
It would have been cool to see, but like I don't know very much about Silver Sable. I know more about Black Cat than I do Silver Sable.
Right.
Yeah.
Silver Sable was like from a wealthy, pretty prominent wealthy family from like a country that doesn't like is in Marvel. I'm not really sure, but yeah, because I know she's basically like a mercenary. I'm sure. Simkara. Okay, she's from Simkara. Simkaria.
Okay.
Simkaria.
Yeah, all I know about her is just like what I've seen in like the Spider-Man video game, and that's about it.
I got you.
Yeah, I hope someday we get like a 2099 live action. I would prefer it not be Sonyverse. I prefer it to be strictly Marvel Studios and Disney, but if Sony gave
as
it
long
a
as
shot,
they keep it with just Spider-Man. I'm not a big fan of all the other 2099 spinoffs that they did, like Punisher 2099 and X-Men 2099. I'm good. I don't need those. Spider-Man 2099 is at least, I think is the most interesting of the 2099 universe.
Right.
Yeah.
And they could easily do a TV show with that with the right writers, and you stick to the source material, and it shouldn't flop.
Oh yeah. And I kind of like I'm starting to think that what if they kind of broke it off, kind of did different universes going on at the same time with Marvel, so that they can explore these different stories and can explore these different avenues instead of it all having to be within the same continuity that they've built with the movies and all that. And that's kind of how I feel with DC, and that's what I wish that they would do, is that you have the CW universe, but you should have the DC cinematic universe, but then you should have like the HBO shows. Like I really want them to do like a Vertigo line of movies. I would love to see like Doom Patrol lead into Swamp Thing, or Swamp Thing lead into Hellblazer, or Hellblazer leading into Sandman, you know? Like I would love to see them do a universe that's kind of in that avenue where it's just they'll have this separate from everything else so that it's
Yeah.
not messing up the continuity of whatever they're wanting to do with the movies, you
Right.
know?
And then like Endgame, Justice League Dark, maybe.
Oh
But
yeah. Like I think a Justice League Dark movie would be brilliant. I think that that would be a lot of fun.
They've
I
been
think
trying
that
to.
the shows leading up to that would be an interesting concept too, instead of it being, you know, these shows that or these movies that we've just kind of followed along over the years. I think it'd be interesting to
Right.
more see the shows become movies eventually.
Right.
Like
Because
it's starting off small and then growing to be something better.
Right, because they've even tried to like make a Justice League Dark like movie or even series like happen, but it's just never like gone off the ground or anything.
yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
no, I agree for sure.
But with Marvel, I think that right now they're doing a pretty good job with what it is that they're trying to go toward. But I think what's really messing them up is the time constrictions. You know, people aging, people growing,
Mhm.
people not necessarily being the people that they were when they started it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm surprised that Robert Downey stuck around for as long as he did as
Or
Iron Man, and you
or
don't
Sam
know.
Jackson as Nick Fury.
Oh yeah, and like we,
Mhm.
we don't know how long that's gonna last, especially with like Sam Jackson. Like what happened? Like how far is he going to go as Nick Fury?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because those contracts aren't that long either, too. So it's and you see the cast of like the X-Men movies and the fact that they've from the very first X-Men movie all the way up to 2025, their contract ends. That's a long time.
Oh yeah, that's a long time. A lot's gonna change too. Like we don't know what's gonna happen because the world also influences the movies. You know,
Right.
Oh yeah.
whatever's happening in our lives as like people in society is going to affect whatever the film is going to have in it. You know,
Facts.
it's kind of like how things get affected. It's like I always like to go back to the Dark Knight Strikes Back, the second Dark Knight book.
Hmm.
It was written right during the time that the World Trade Center 9/11 happened, and it changed the outcome completely for what it was going to be. So it was like issue 1 and 2 were going this specific route, but then 9/11 happened, and Frank Miller decides to write something completely different for the ending of Dark Knight Returns or the Dark Knight Strikes Back. So
Yeah.
it's just a matter of like what's going to happen in the world and how is that going to affect the movies that we're watching.
Right.
Yeah, art definitely imitates life for sure, and Feige has been pretty consistent about that with the MCU. He's even the events of like the first Avengers was like uh canon for everything else moving forward. Like yeah, the the attack on New York City and the 5-year blip, all of those just tragedies that pushed the MCU forward. And then they even had like um I wouldn't say any real life tragedies or disasters or whatever in the MCU, but whenever there was something going on, you could kind of see it in the MCU shows and movies too. So
Oh
it's
yeah, and then
Uh-huh.
things get pushed back too, and like you know, it's like with the Black Widow. You know, we were supposed to get Black Widow in 2019.
Mhm.
right.
It didn't
No,
come out
yeah.
until
2021.
yeah. So we had COVID kind of hit, kind of ruined that. But what I didn't understand was that they kept releasing stuff at the same time that they were holding back on Black Widow.
Hmm.
And I think that that messed up the flow of what they were doing. And I think that they need to take into consideration that issues will arise.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That it's not going to be like this, you're setting up this timeline, but sometimes the timeline gets messed up because things get either pushed back or we're having situations like we are with this Blade movie where they can't even get a director to stay on. you
Right.
know. And it's kind of like with the Todd McFarlane Spawn movie that was just announced. You know, they just announced the people that were going to direct it and the
The
script writers and
writer,
things like
yeah,
that. But my issue with it is probably the same that Jamie Foxx's is that it just needs to get moved along. You know, these people that you're wanting to be in this movie have other things going on. You know, Jamie Foxx could be dealing with another movie that he wants to do. You know,
right,
the other people that are in the movie that you're wanting to be in the movie have other things to do as well. So I think Todd McFarlane needs to just get along with getting the Spawn movie in production to get it going. I understand that
yeah,
having a good script is important. I understand that having good actors and actresses is important, but you have to start getting it in motion. If not, it's just going
yeah,
to stay on the ground and we're going to wait another 10, 20 years for another Spawn movie.
Right.
right.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I got an example. You guys remember? You guys know that Hocus Pocus 2 just came out, right?
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. One of the original outside of the sisters, one of the original actors, Thora Birch, who played Danny in the first movie, she wanted to come back for the sequel, and she was so excited. She even talked with the director and the writers, like, let's do this, and they were just trying to write something and just find a role, find something for her to do in the movie. And when they finally got to that point, and like they just put it off and off, she was already like attached and like had another. She was in something at that time, so she couldn't really film or do anything. So they just had to write her role out, and she was very like disappointed in that. So no, you're absolutely right, Thomas. You gotta like, as much as you want to get the script right, and like you might want to detail it a little bit like extra, you gotta get on it as soon as possible when you can, or else like someone's gonna be agitated and frustrated, like, I gotta go, I gotta do this now, or I'm gonna go.
Yeah, because
Right?
he was
Everybody's
just
got
waiting
time
on somebody to
stipulations and
buy
everything.
it. Yeah,
Mhm.
he needed the studio to buy it because um, I guess the investments and the funding for the movie will make or break it.
Mhm.
But it's like he could have sold that script a long time ago though. Still, like,
He really could have. And I
yeah,
think the thing with Todd McFarlane though is that he wanted to do it himself.
Right.
I think that's the issue that we're faced with is that he wants to do it himself, which is all right. Like I mean, like that's fine, but you know, we saw what Frank Miller did with RoboCop 2.
right.
You know, you can't just go from writing comics to writing movies. It's not
Or
as simple as that. But I mean, Todd McFarlane, I mean, like he's had years, and now that he's got people attached to the script, and now he's got a director that's not going to be him. You know, I would much rather Todd just be an executive producer and
Fact.
having at least a word into what's going on with the Spawn film. But I think for any comic book film to work, it has to be made by fans of that work. Otherwise, you're giving it to people that could care less about it, you
Yeah,
know.
they'll do what they
That's
believe
what I
makes
feel
money.
happens with some movies that fall short, you know, of what we would expect of them and what we would want from them is that the people behind them aren't really as passionate about it as the fans are, you know.
Exactly.
right, and even with passion like this, there'll be some areas like you're better at, and like you'll be better at writing, you'll be better at directing, or better at like choreography, or just if you're wanting to try something different, just be sure that you know what you're doing. Like when Simon Kinberg like directed Dark Phoenix for the first time, like in 19, and he'd written a lot of the X-Men movies from before, and he's a great writer, and nothing against him, but Dark Phoenix was not, it just was not, so.
Now,
But
the issue with Dark Phoenix that I felt was you're setting up something that it took Chris Claremont 10 years to set up. It wasn't just like the Dark Phoenix saga happened and that was
Mhm.
it. It was, you know, you have all the setup, you have to involve, you know, the galactic part or the cosmic part of Marvel
Mhm.
because you have to remember the Phoenix killed an entire planet, you know.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
that was a genocidal act and that's why at the end of her story in that what is it? X-Men what one 32 or something like that. It was something like that. Whenever the issue in which she died, she died for a specific reason. They felt that it's not fair that she could kill off an entire planet and still continue to go.
Right.
And that was the big issue. And then of course they bring her back with the beginning of X Factor, and they explain that the Phoenix was actually what was resurrected, and that Jean Grey was in this cocoon the whole time, and they get all over the place. But I felt like with the Dark Phoenix movie, they just didn't have the proper setup. I feel like, because I'm still like a fan of those X-Men movies, even Dark Phoenix. I felt like Dark Phoenix had one of my favorite Nightcrawler scenes, where he's on the train and he's fighting them and he's using his tail. He's got a knife. It's almost like the sword flaying Nightcrawler that we see in the comics. And that's what I really enjoyed about Dark Phoenix. Like, there are scenes in Dark Phoenix that I really enjoyed, but I felt like the setup for it wasn't there, and I felt like the execution of the story wasn't there. But the action parts I enjoyed, and I enjoyed that they were trying to continue it, that it wasn't just like, because we kind of see the Phoenix stuff at the end of Apocalypse, X-Men Apocalypse.
That's what they were trying to build up for sure. But no, you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
but if they do another Apocalypse, I swear it's got to be someone that's bulking, like beefy, like
Terry Crews,
like Kimbo Slice kind of large. That's what I want to see. I want to see someone that's huge to play Apocalypse.
Yes.
I don't want to see like Oscar Isaac just didn't have the build. He didn't have.
He's better. We've got him as Moon Knight. Let's keep him as Moon Knight. We just need to find someone just as big enough to play Apocalypse.
That's how I felt about Thanos too. I was like, gotta have a big dude for Thanos, big dude for Apocalypse. And I don't care who they pick, just somebody that scares me. That's why
I would much rather see, I would like to see the guy who played the was it the bear? What was his name in Game of Thrones?
Mountain.
Yeah. The mountain. Yeah. I would like to see him be Apocalypse, or even like if they were to bring back Thanos, I would like to see him play like the physical version,
Right.
But and then I wonder if they're ever going to bring back Thanos, especially since they introduced Star Fox at the end of the Eternals, and then I feel like there's a lot more that could be explored with Thanos that they didn't really touch on, especially since we're now going to get Warlock here soon.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
So
I'm not really sure what they're gonna do with like the Eternals, really, because they haven't announced anything for like a sequel, or we don't know. I would think the closest thing we could see Eternals is maybe in like a tagline for Guardians 3, or I don't know,
Kang Dynasty,
or Kang Dynasty, or like or like I don't know, just weirdly somehow, since Kang is in Ant-Man and the Wasp, maybe somewhere there.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Right? And I know that Kang is a time traveler too, so I can see them bringing back the Infinity Stones. I can see there being like an Infinity Watch being formed out of that.
Infinity Watch, but no, I think in Ant-Man and the Wasp is like what I'm excited for most next year,
hands down.
Mm-hmm. I've always loved the Ant-Man Wasp movies, and I love the second one more than the first, and I'm really excited about this one, especially because we get to actually see like Jonathan Majors become Kang, because he did a fantastic. Thomas, did you ever watch Loki yet, or no?
I haven't seen Loki yet, but I've seen the clip of him as Kang. Like I've seen it because you see it in the memes and you see it in like the
he plays a variant of Kang called He Who Remains, and he was just phenomenal. I was like, they're actually fucking doing this. They're actually bringing him in. And,
and then I wonder if we're gonna get like the Squadron Sinister. I wonder if that's gonna be introduced. I wonder if we're gonna get like the Squadron Supreme after that, because that's the only Kang story that I think I've ever read, was when he brings the Avengers from the past to the future, because he's going up against the Grandmaster. And they're in a game that's kind of like chess, and the Grandmaster brings in the Squadron Sinister, and that's the first appearance of, the Squadron Sinister. And they go up against each other, and of course the Avengers beat the Squadron Sinister. But then Kang, at the end of the story, is like, well, I'm going to turn on the Avengers anyways, even though I needed their help.
Yeah.
So that's the only introduction to Kang that I really had. I never really read
It's
any of
really
his
interesting that you said that about how Kang brought the Avengers from the past to the future. Like that would be, I could see how some people could come back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh
Through
yeah,
that, through that. You know what I mean?
because if Kane wanted, he could bring like characters back that have died before, like heroes in
Yeah.
them. He could bring
Yeah.
back because I know a few. Because I know I've heard actors like say that they were disappointed and wanted to do more even after their characters like they could bring back Crossbones. They could bring back
I think he's gonna bring back Killmonger. Honestly,
Hunger, the Mandarin, Black Widow. They could bring back
Yeah.
bring back a good amount of people for sure.
Yeah, I wish they would recast Killmonger because for same reason people need to recast Apocalypse because Oscar Isaac wasn't the right fit for him.
What?
And
Wait, you
I
wait, you
thought
don't
Michael
physically,
Jordan killed
physically,
his role.
really? I
yeah,
thought he was.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I thought he was built. I thought he was like pretty, like built, like. I
Like
mean,
he's lean and athletic, but Killmonger, comic book wise, is a big old dude. Like,
Well, yeah. I mean,
physically, Killmonger looks exactly. Have you seen the TV show Spartacus? Like,
no.
well, oh, the guy that replaced Spartacus was up against a villain called the Egyptian.
Mhm.
The Egyptian looks exactly like how Killmonger should have looked in BP.
I don't know. Like I had no problems with Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger. I thought he killed his role. I thought he did a good job, and I thought. I mean, he doesn't have to look exactly like the comic book version, but they got close. You know what I'm saying?
The acting was good. I just don't.
Comic book version.
He didn't scare me.
Right. I mean,
he didn't. He wasn't a scary
Thanos
character.
didn't scare me, so.
Thanos was a lot more intimidating than Killmonger.
Yeah, Thanos scared everyone.
Thanos was intimidating, very intimidating.
I didn't like how they did Hulk though. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Even prior to him becoming Banner Hulk, I didn't like that whimpering Hulk that he did, like when he fought Thanos the first time.
Right.
Like
didn't want to change no more.
Regardless, like it doesn't matter how powerful Thanos is. The more pissed off the Hulk is, the stronger he gets.
Right.
So there's no like the fact that they had Hulk even terrified of Thanos.
I mean, I thought
It was
interesting.
ridiculous. There's no reason for him to have been terrified.
Like
because that's the Hulk that I want to see. I want to see that return to that destructive, ready, like doesn't care who it is. You know, that's what I liked about the I guess the Edward Norton one when he goes up against
Abomination,
the soldiers and all that.
Oh,
when he's fighting them and everything, and then I just like that scene where he kicks the one guy as the Hulk, and you just see him fly away, and I'm like, that's the Hulk that I would prefer to see.
Yeah,
that's what I thought should have been the Hulk in the Avengers. You know, Edward Norton did a very good job.
Like, Edward Norton was good, but the issue with Edward Norton was that he was just trying to rewrite it. He was having that, you know, consistent rewriting, and like he was trying to really take control of the movie, and that's why it didn't work out with Edward Norton.
Had nothing to do with Thanos.
I don't know. Someone's commenting that y'all know him not coming out had nothing to do with Thanos.
Are you positive?
Who had nothing to do with Thanos? I was talking about that scene with
the Hulk.
When the
He's talking about the Hulk transformations, like what Hulk
in Infinity War. Yeah,
he's apparently too scared to come out and fight again.
I mean, if this guy knows better than us, then by all means. But
I thought that because that was the reason that Banner was in the Hulkbuster suit.
Yeah,
was that Hulk didn't want to come out? Why didn't Hulk want to come out? You know, and I had just a huge issue with that. I was like, Hulk, if anything, always wants out.
Yeah,
like Thanos. You know what I mean? Like after he took that whooping from Thanos, is when he started acting real funny.
See, but I don't think that he should have taken that whooping from Thanos to begin with.
Exactly.
I think that Thanos would have hit him. It would have pissed him off more, and Hulk would have hit back harder.
Which
I
is
felt like it felt so quick how they were just like, we're done. They kind of shrugged it off, like Thanos immediately just whoops Hulk like he was nothing. I'm like, no, Hulk would genuinely get pissed off and pissed off and pissed off to the point where he would either die fighting Thanos or Thanos would fucking launch him out of the spaceship just to get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
Facts. Another character I think they did wrong was Gore.
Thor,
the issue with Thor is that they made him more comical.
Like Gore, yeah.
Because originally he's supposed to be a lot more serious. He's supposed to be very
Shakespearean, like regal, honorable, and just like
that Norse. He's supposed to be that very Norse.
I was talking about Gore.
Yeah,
I thought I heard you say Gore at first.
Oh, Gore! I thought he said Thor. I was like, oh no. But Gore, I honestly hadn't seen that Thor movie yet.
Love and Thunder is really good. I still prefer Ragnarok like myself, but just me personally. But Love and Thunder is really good, and I mean he doesn't look exactly like he does in the comics, like not physically, and that doesn't have all the face features. But Christian Bale does a pretty good Gore.
Yeah, I mean the acting was cool. But I think that they took it in the wrong direction with Love and Thunder, because everything every other minute they would insert something real funny in between serious moments, and I'm like, dude, this fight between Thor and Gore was supposed to be intimidating. It was supposed to make you fear for the Marvel universe, because he was going around slaying gods.
Mm-hmm.
But I never felt that intimidation with him when he came on screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you see that comment?
Where it says, so in Ragnarok, Hulk and Thor had to talk about how he kept Banner away. Yeah, but that doesn't really... I don't know how that ties into what we were saying about Hulk being pissed off and not...
because Ragnarok was before Infinity War, so...
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just feel like Hulk should have been able to really Hulk out,
Mm-hmm.
Even when he was in Ragnarok, I feel like he was dulled down. He wasn't Hulk. And the thing about that was that they were trying to do that Planet Hulk alongside Ragnarok. That's what they were trying to do with Ragnarok, and that's why Hulk was even in the movie to begin with. But the thing about it was that during Planet Hulk in the comic, I'm pretty sure he had something attached to his chest, which was making him depowered. It was taking away his ability to really rage out. And that's why he became a gladiator, and that's why he had to fight his way up to the top. Right. And that's what I feel like they messed up with Ragnarok, was that they took away that aspect of Hulk, that he's supposed to get angrier, that he's supposed to be an angry being that just wants to destroy. Essentially.
Yeah.
He's that bad part of Banner that they never really explored in the movies. They never really explore they
didn't. That's
Banner's childhood with his father and the abuse, and they don't go into everything like that in the movies. So I can understand them kind of straying away from that, but I feel like Hulk should always be Hulk, just the pissed off, angry. You make him angrier, he continues to get angrier,
stronger,
get stronger.
Yes,
dude.
But that's what I want to see with Hulk. I want to see them return back to that formula, and that's why I'm kind of excited with Mark Ruffalo saying that there could be a Planet Hulk or a World War Hulk movie coming. And I think that World War Hulk would be interesting, and that's kind of I wish that they had expanded more on him being up in space and then him coming back down, because I think that World War Hulk would be such an interesting way to reintroduce Hulk back into
well,
the superhero world on Earth.
Well, they might,
because Illuminati's what sent him away in the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, be doing that now. He's him in space for the time being.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But what I like about him when he comes back to Earth after that first time, he just comes back and he's with a vengeance. He's ready to destroy everybody.
He's slaughtering everybody.
It took leader. It took leader to actually save the world from him.
Oh
They had to-
God.
Yeah, so
it's
that's what I would like to see, especially if they're going to introduce Leader. Like
Yeah.
that would be a way to wrap around with Leader. Like
right.
create a World War Hulk movie, have Leader be the one to stop it.
Right.
I feel like that would be much more interesting. And then I'm still waiting for them to introduce Red Hulk. I don't understand why they didn't do that before the announcement of Thunderbolts. I would much rather see a Red Hulk within that Thunderbolts team.
Well,
Just because I don't think he was on the original Thunderbolts
I think he's
as
coming.
Red Hulk anyways. I don't think he was on the original Thunderbolts. But with that new Thunderbolts team that had like Deadpool on it, Punisher, Red Hulk, Elektra, that's the team that I would like to see in the
Yeah.
movies. That's what I would prefer.
well, I
I
mean,
would. Yeah.
well, for all we know, we're not sure if they're gonna recast like for Thunderbolt Ross or not. With after like with William Hurt passing away like this last year, but I would mean part of me would think they would, but we're not really sure. But I would very much still like to see a Red Hulk for sure. Maybe
I think that would be really interesting. And then like I would like for them to kind of explore Hulk's like lineage, like
Right.
his son and everything that comes after that.
Yeah, because the timeline we're on with live action is like, you kind of have a clue of who they're going to give you. I don't think the Sun is coming for about another 1 or 2 years. I think like in She-Hulk season 2, maybe they'll give a hint to it that it's like, oh yeah, Jen, by the way, you got a nephew or something crazy like that.
Right.
And then
or they could do like Amadeus Cho, like become a Hulk too.
Like they're fooling around with Abomination now because Abomination is like on probation, but he violated it once and in the TV show, and for all we know, he's probably the main antagonist of the Thunderbolts, or he could be like a late joining member. And they're up against Red Hulk as the antagonist for the movie.
That'd be pretty interesting to see, is like Red Hulk being the antagonist.
Yeah.
Oh, and like Red Hulk and Abomination just going at it because because Ross definitely had a hand in like creating Abomination for sure.
Oh, he definitely did.
For sure.
So that would be like it's coming like this is coming back to haunt you. So yeah.
Yeah.
But me, I kind of want to see like them hitting each other's like fists and then creating like a shockwave.
Right.
Just every time like oh man, I think that would be brilliant to see.
Oh yeah.
But I think I'm about to get ready and probably hop off here.
Yeah, I gotta hop off too. It's getting pretty late.
Oh yeah, gotta get my dinner, man. I've been
that's
ready
what I'm
to eat
getting
the
ready
last hour and a half now.
Yeah, and House of the Dragon is about to drop.
Oh
dude,
man,
House of the Dragon.
You're right. I got to get that episode in, man.
Yes,
we got to talk about that next time. We got to talk about what's going on with House of the Dragon because that's
a fact.
Dude,
popping right now.
I mean, Eamon, right? Is about to be in this. One eye.
Eamon's been a trip. Eamon's tripping me out, but like I'm more interested in like the brown-haired kids, the Rhaenyra's children,
the strong boys.
Jason.
Yeah, I want to see what's going to happen with them. I can't wait.
It's going to be wild.
Oh, it's about to be.
Oh, and then there's a lot of talks of that Jon Snow spinoff that they're talking about.
They
so
are.
There's a lot of talks of what's going on with the production and everything.
Yeah.
The season finale for House of the Dragon is only like two or 3 weeks. It's like the 23rd.
I think it's 2 weeks. I think we're getting 10 episodes.
Yeah. It's October 23rd, ain't it? Sunday, October. So
I think we're gonna chop it up on the finale, definitely.
Oh yeah,
for
we
sure.
got to because that's stuff's been pretty good.
And Gibbs, you got to be here for that too.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I think a lot of people gonna be here for that. I'm gonna try to get some people together, man.
Yeah,
right.
If we probably have like a limit on the amount of hosts we have, definitely that comment section gonna be jumping though.
But the comments,
yeah. I don't know if we'll do a watch party or we'll just wait till the day after the episode and then review it. But
Watch party.
either way would be lit.
Yeah, I'd be
Right,
down for a
right.
watch party.
I don't mind. I mean, yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got, man. I appreciate you guys coming out. I know Tuesdays and Thursdays, like after 7, is good time for Cam.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
I
same with
probably
me
won't be
too,
in the
man.
stream.
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay, bad.
Yep. So Will, you can definitely get those news segments around those
Yeah.
times, and I'll probably be able to join in and help out in a couple of weeks. But
All right, my man.
I'll be in the comment section helping out and moderating while you guys do your thing.
Sure,
And-
sure, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this Saturday, probably around like 5 or 6, we'll probably do like episode 10, talk about She-Hulk finale and whatever else we want to talk about.
Right on.
That sounds pretty dope. And then of course we got that Halloween Ends coming up here real soon. I think next week, isn't it?
This Friday.
This Friday, yeah. See, so
Mhm.
we got it right around the corner.
Yeah.
And we
then
got
in the
Chainsaw Man and Bleach.
Oh,
Oh
yes.
man, Bleach, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm ready for that 1,000-year blood war.
It's
Oh,
going
Oh
down.
man, I've been waiting years for this, man.
I need to get caught up. I need to rewatch, and then the week after we'll have Black Adam to like watch and talk about.
Oh yeah, Black Adam's coming out. Oh man, we got a lot. October's got a lot going on.
A lot
It's
of
kind
heat.
of crazy.
Yeah, dude, I'm flabbergasted. I don't know what to do with myself. This is
We'll have-
nuts.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to like set like time and like schedule for what's coming out, because this month, next month, and even like December, like with Avatar, like too, like yeah.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
got a lot going on, and then of course, Judgment Day in the comic book world is about to come to a close here soon. We're gonna have a new Spider-Man crossover called Dark Web,
That's right.
and then
Yeah. That I'm really
later
excited for.
next year is going to be Sins of Sinister SOS.
Yep.
And
December we got the Spawn and Batman crossover that's supposed to be greenlit.
Oh yeah.
And they just announced the other day they're doing a crossover for Static Shock and Batman Beyond.
Oh man, and then of course Dark Crisis is about to end, so we're about to get into a new world of DC.
Two
So
issues.
I'm excited to see. I'm actually interested in the Superman stuff that's going to be coming out here soon, especially with Kal-El being back in the mantle of Superman.
I'll probably take your review first before I start buying those.
Oh man, yeah, no, I'm definitely going to try to get into that, but me right now, I'm real excited for the independent books that we got coming out. Like I said, like we got Night of the Ghoul that just dropped by Scott Snyder. We got a book called Specs that's going to be coming out that's apparently like a campy kind of 80s kind of story where these kids order these pair of X-ray spectacles out of the back of a comic book, and then it turns out that it's actually killing people or something along those lines. So I'm interested in that story. And then of course there's a Damn Them All by Boom Studios that's about to come out at the end of the month. So we got some pretty good horror coming out here soon, and
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. And then I'm waiting for any kind of fantasy that we got. And Neil Gaiman's coming back to Marvel to write that Miracle Man stuff. So
That's
I'm
gonna
about to
be
jump
good.
on that.
That's gonna be cash. I can't wait to get
And-
Mr. Gaiman.
And I know that they're gonna be, if not by the end of the year, sometime next year, they're doing like a Scarlet Witch solo like comic books
Oh
story.
yeah, I think January is when that number 1's going to come out.
Yeah.
Dude, have y'all
That's
been
gonna be
keeping up with the latest DC, the Dark Crisis?
Yeah.
I haven't personally. I went with Judgment Day over Dark
I'm
Crisis.
up with DC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went with Judgment Day too, but I have Dark Crisis though. It's
I
sitting on
mean,
my
Dark
shelf.
Crisis is pretty. I mean, it's pretty good.
That's what I heard, especially with like Pariah being the
Mhm.
antagonist.
Yeah. Dark Crisis, Black
The
Adam.
Great Dark One is
Mhm.
taking over,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is pretty much the opposite of the one above. I mean, not the one above.
With the presence.
The Presence, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh, yeah, a lot of craziness happening, and then I feel like we're about to get into a different era, especially with DC, and then we're going to see a new era with Marvel. I feel like I feel like we got to be heading towards that with Marvel soon. I feel like we just recently got, the new number 1s with Amazing Spider-Man, with Daredevil, you know,
Uh-huh.
and they just announced a bunch of stuff at New York Comic Con, so
Right.
we got a
Yeah.
lot to look
Announced-
forward to in the next couple of like months, and
X
I'm excited for
23.
the next horror stuff for Marvel
that,
because
Kim?
they're actually incorporating the Midnight Suns back into Marvel, and I know they got a #1 out right now. I think that it's going to be an ongoing series, and then it's going to lead to another kind of crossover event, but with just the Dark Marvel characters. So like Elsa
Yeah.
Bloodstone, Man Thing,
Yeah.
Magic, Wolverine, characters of that nature.
That'd be cool.
Mhm.
That'd be real cool.
Yeah,
All right, guys.
yeah. So I'm gonna show off the outro real quick, and then I'm gonna end the stream. So everybody
What's-
that came out and watched the show, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Tommy and Cameron for coming and help us out with this bonus
Rock on.
content.
We're good to come back whenever, man.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. We'll try to get you guys in for episode 10 whenever you guys are available, and then we talk
For
our
sure,
stuff
for sure.
about She-Hulk then.
Right
And
on.
I know you guys got to meet Gibby, because Gibby is willing to throw down about She-Hulk and Hulk, so that's gonna
Oh
make
man,
for
and then
good
I know
content.
you and Will were talking about She-Hulk and whether or not it was good or not. So I want to hear that
It's pretty
conversation. But
good.
let's finish out She-Hulk before we have that conversation.
That's facts. You heard him, Will. You gotta watch all 9 of those episodes before.
Mhm.
Which
and
one?
Then,
Oh, nine of what?
She-Hulk. All nine episodes of She-Hulk.
Y'all breaking up. I can't.
She-Hulk. Oh boy.
Yeah, that is it for the show. Oh dang.
He really peaced out.
All right, I'm gonna throw this outro in and then end the stream.
All right.